Hey guys, what is up? This is Krazak here, and welcome back once again. You guys know what time it is. It's time to have the talk, the rant, whatever you like to call it. But a lot of people have seemed to enjoy it recently. So, let's go for it. Now, the topic for the week that I've came across has been the topic of tolerance, which is an interesting topic to say the least. A lot of people tend to treat tolerance as something where it's like you accept me or you're wrong, or you're wrong because stereotypes or whatever. But it's a bit interesting because the definition of tolerance doesn't fit the emotional feelings behind it at all. It's kind of interesting to see. There's a quote from a book I've been reading recently called Evidence. The quote says, "Rather than accepting all views as equally valid, true tolerance involves recognizing and respecting others when we don't approve of their values, beliefs, and practices." Now, it's a bit interesting to see this just because there is no emotion in that. Yes, there is the fact that we don't accept what they necessarily believe, or we don't agree with what they believe, but that's not a reason to disrespect them. It's not a reason to hate them. And so often you've seen this. It happens primarily with religious affiliations and sexual orientations, from what I've seen. So, let's just use a random example that I've heard a long time ago. There's something called Pastafarianism, which, sure, I don't really know a lot, but it's about a giant flying spaghetti monster. And I use it as a radical example because it is uncommon, and I've never met anyone who sincerely believes it. I mean, sure, people joke about it, but at the end of the day, most people that mention it or have heard of it consider it just to be a joke or a meme. But just because you don't agree with them doesn't mean you have to disrespect them, doesn't mean you have to hate them. But it does actually allow room to disagree with them, to say, hey, I think you're wrong because this, and this. It's not something where you're like, you're wrong because I feel like I'm right. Because what if you're not right? But it's not wrong to go about it and say, I believe that you're wrong because this piece of evidence, this piece of evidence, and this piece of evidence. It's, I guess you could say, somewhat easy to falsify a belief like that. But it does go into other religions, a lot more of the heavy ones, such as Christianity, which I'm part of, or say being Muslim or Jewish. People disagree with it. People are going to disagree with it. And people are going to fight for what they believe in. But a lot of where we tend to go wrong is in how we judge people before we really take the time to think it out, to be able to provide evidence. Instead, we start swinging instead, and that's not the way to deal with it. But rather, it's okay that you two don't agree. Just get that out of the way. It's interesting to see just how much things are different if you take the time to listen to them and they listen to you in an environment where it's respectful, where you're not mad at them because they don't believe you, and they're not mad at you because you don't believe them. It's healthy to disagree, and in fact, it helps you both grow. Now, on the topic of sexual orientation, that one has been a very odd one, to say the least. It's kind of interesting to see just because you get biologically, and then you get like due to all these other things, like just orientations. Biologically, there is man and woman, fairly straightforward. But when it comes to orientation, it goes so far beyond what just the biological definition. But it's not fair to them, whoever they are, what their orientation is, for us to hate on them just because we disagree with them. And unfortunately, I have seen a lot of that in communities and stuff like that. And I've even encountered a person recently where it's like, here probably isn't a place to go around saying, hey, guess what? I'm gonna just openly say, hey, I'm gay. Okay, no problem with that. And I mean, I even said that. It's like, nothing against you. I mean, sure, I'm not gonna disrespect you. I'm not gonna do anything like that, but I hope you know I disagree with you. Plain and simple. There's nothing wrong there. However, what he said is like, dude, stop bullying me. It's like, where in the world is that bullying? In what way have I bullied him by saying, okay, that's fine. Feel free to be gay, but I disagree with you. It's simply non existent, honestly. There is no evidence that that is in any way, shape, or form bullying. And I didn't push the issue. I didn't go any further than that. I let him be. But just for him to go to his friends and say, dude, this guy is bullying me, when there's obviously no bullying there. Isn't that more unfair to me, or I guess to you, if that's such a case that you encounter? But a lot of this comes down to the emotional feeling behind it, which isn't what true tolerance is, but rather the tolerance in that you get that people don't agree with you, and that people are going to get mad, they're going to be offended. And to be honest, I want to say, good. Be offended, but grow. If you're one of these people who you feel like you're the one that's the victim here, feel free to know people are going to disagree with you. But please offer them up enough respect to still treat them humanely, still treat them like a human, still be respectable. I know that I ask for that as much as someone who would fit in one of these victimized, quote unquote, categories would ask for it. So, I guess it goes as far as to say that be careful in how you treat other people. And I mean, there is a golden rule, as you could say, fairly common. People might know it, but it's treat others the way you want to be treated. Now, it does come from biblical roots, yes, but there is still a lot of truth to it. Treat others with respect, you get respect back. If you respond and you make yourself out to be a jerk, then why should you be surprised when people are going to be mean to you or going to be a jerk back to you? It makes a lot of logical sense, it makes a lot of emotional sense, and in this way, you're honestly the one at fault. But rather, be blameless, be respectable, so that anyone who claims that you're the one at fault, anyone who claims that you're in the wrong, has no room to stand. They have nothing to stand on, they have nothing to prove, and sure, they might go as far as to say it, but when it comes down to it, they have nothing left. Either way, guys, I really appreciate that you guys stop back in time and time again. It means a lot, and as I said, if it even gets you to just think, if it gets you to take a look at your perspective, to figure out, what am I thinking? Is there a possibility I could be wrong? Is there a possibility I could be right? It's these kind of thinking, it's this kind of philosophical thinking, where I want you to really struggle with it, to wrestle with it, to figure out, It could be right, it could be wrong. And more than that, to grow in your knowledge and to be able to grow in standing for what you believe in. And I believe that makes a difference. And I hope that you guys do too. But this goes without saying, I really appreciate you guys stopping in, watching, checking it out. I'm going to start saying so more often just because I do want to actually start pushing for it. If this is going to be a constant thing, I want to grow as a channel. So I would really appreciate it if you guys subscribe, if you guys leave a like. Believe it or not, it actually helps us grow a lot. And to be able to see that, I want to continue to make content for you guys. I want to continue to at least start doing it on a weekly basis. At least one video a week is my goal. And with you guys, with your support, that's actually becoming possible. Now, it's not always going to be easy. I may not always be able to do these talks every single week, but as far as I can and to the best of my power, I want to at least start producing one video a week for you guys. Give you something to come back to, give you something to really enjoy, maybe even something to chew on for a while. But either way, leave your comments down below. I'm open for discussion. And if you want, there are ways to get a hold of me. All you need to do is ask, really. But either way, guys, thank you for stopping in. This is Krazak, signing out. See ya.